What is going on, everyone? This is another Spotlight Series interview with yours truly, ACK. Today we got another country artist because I feel like I do country artists like every other week, and that's just what we do here. But anyway, today's a little different because this is actually one of my friends, and I actually know her. So like, it feels weird to do an interview with her just because I know her, but I want you guys to get to know her. So today we have Kate Reid. Kate, how are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Same crap, different day. It's beautiful out
Yeah.
here today, though. It's like 60 and sunny, so it's nice out.
Jealous, jealous. Yeah, it's nice here too, but it's not that nice. So
Nah, fair enough. But so like I said, this is gonna be kind of weird, just because like obviously I know you already. So, but we want the people to know who you are.
that's fair.
So
Yeah,
before we get into the questions and stuff, why don't you just tell the people just like kind of a little bit about you and who you are?
for sure. So yeah, my name is Kate. I'm in Canada. I'm in Calgary, Alberta. I've been here about a year now, and music is something that I've always wanted to do, always kind of done on the side, but never really took a swing at it until the past year. So yeah, I've met Andrew through actually social media. So it's awesome how it can connect people and artists, and we've become friends. And yeah, pretty cool to have the opportunity to be able to show you guys some music and get myself out there a little bit more. So
Awesome. No, yeah, it's like it's social media is just like such like a cool thing just because like you can just reach so many people, and especially nowadays like with the pandemic and stuff like that, like social media is just blowing up, and like TikTok and Instagram and people just reaching out and stuff like that. So it's just cool.
it is really cool. It's a great outlet, especially with the year that we've all had. I mean, we're literally all going through the same thing, just in different aspects, and obviously every place is different. But we all have that common ground where we're all kind of cooped up and not meeting new people. So this is a pretty cool way to be able to do that for sure.
No,
So
exactly. No, and it's going to be really cool once I get to release this. And then obviously this one will get released later, but obviously you featuring in a couple of showcases that I have, which is cool too. That's
yeah,
another good way to like kind of get out there more and have people experience, like kind of like see you more and stuff like that.
definitely. Yeah, it's a really cool idea. So
Yeah. So kind of just jumping right into the questions. I'll just start with my first question that I always start with is how did music start for you? Like when did you start singing? Like just like where did it all start for you?
yeah, sure. So I'm actually originally from the Yukon, which I know you know, so way up by Alaska, for those who don't really know where it is. So growing up there, obviously a super outdoors community and pretty tight knit. And I grew up listening to all sorts of country music. It wasn't really in my family, so I don't know why I was always drawn to it, but I just loved how every song told a story and it just seemed so real. And so yeah, I kind of just grew up listening to like Shania Twain, Loretta Lynn, Patsy Cline, then got into more like Nan Rhymes and Terry Clark, and kind of grew up listening to all those like iconic female artists and wanted to be like them. And then I always played piano, always loved music, but always wanted to be able to sing country music. So I kind of thought, hey, like I got to learn guitar. So I was in my like Taylor Swift stage, like teardrops on my guitar, like so I was 12 and 13, and I actually got a guitar and started to learn off YouTube and teach myself all her songs, and kind of just started writing from there, and then just kind of spiraled into performing around Whitehorse, and used it as my outlet. Obviously, every teenager goes through super awkward phases, and I kind of turned to music for that and started writing, and that got me through a lot of stuff. And then even into my adult life, it's been my outlet for sure, and it's been my therapy. So it's kind of just been kind of part of my life. So
No, that's awesome. And no, and for sure. And obviously, as you know, like that's just how I do a lot of my writing too, is like through like emotions and just like kind of just having that outlet to kind of just like I don't even know what I'm trying to say, is just to like vent and like be able to just write stuff down, even if it's not a song, just
yeah,
to have it out there, just like to just jot down and get things off your chest, is because obviously everyone has their fair share of stuff that they've been through, and it's just cool, and it's really brave like when a lot of people put songs out there that mean a lot to them, especially like
yeah,
the one that I have, back to when that officially comes out, like that one has a lot behind it. And later on after the interview, obviously your song Numb, obviously I know has a lot of meaning behind it for you as well. So it's just cool. It's music's just such a powerful thing, honestly. It's
It
just
really
it helps a lot, and it's cool. Like I said, it's just cool when people really like do that storytelling vibe and just lay their emotions out there.
yeah, definitely.
So kind of like with that, obviously you kind of like said some of your inspirations and stuff in country music and stuff like that, how you got into that. But did anyone really like inspire you to start doing music and start playing guitar, or was it just something you were like, hey, this is like I like doing this, this is fun, this is what I want to do?
Um, well, I always loved singing. When I was little, it was just something I always wanted to do. I obviously, when you're little, you have no idea if you sound good or not. You're just screaming and sitting outside the top of your lungs on your swing or whatever. And my parents always said, like, this kid would not shut up. Like, she'd be outside on the swing set, just like belting it. And all the neighbors would hear, and they just got a kick out of it because they're like, all right, well, she's singing Thumbelina at the top of her lungs. Like, she's having a good day, right? But I think the biggest thing, like I used to watch CMT like religiously, and
Mhm.
Shania Twain just hit me. Like she went through so much and overcame and persevered so much in her personal life and just turned it all to music and kind of used that as her outlet, and just hearing her stories and her songs, and she just paved the way for so many female artists. So I think she was a huge inspiration for me to start actually singing and maybe try to do more with the music side. And then obviously when I got into my teenagers years, like Taylor Swift was, yeah, she was that girl that like every teenage girl was like, oh yeah, she gets my heartbreak, she gets the guy I have a crush on, she's my spirit animal, right? So her singing and writing all those songs kind of pushed me into guitar and wanting to learn how to play that and to be able to kind of put similar things that I was going through that she had written about when she was a teenager. So like we said, it's music is all about relatability. And I think that's huge. And that's what got me into it, was being able to kind of think that, okay, so these songs got me through things in my life. What if I could write something that could help someone else get through something similar, or they could relate to it, or it would help them use it as like a healing thing? Or so that's what really pushed me to start to write things down for sure.
No, and that's awesome. Music's just such a powerful thing, and it can just connect so many people. Like obviously it connected us to start like working together and just stuff like that. And it just music hits different. Like obviously I have a playlist that has over like 1,400 songs, and sometimes like just some songs like I'll just like be happy and just groove into, but then all of a sudden like that sad song comes on and it just like really hits me in a spot where I'm like I relate to that a lot in my life.
Yeah,
And it's
definitely.
just I mean, and it's cool. Like I love music. It's always just been a cool thing for me, and it's just always had a place in my heart, whether I've been blaring it on the radio or like we used to watch CMT all the time in my household too. Like
Yeah.
we just like country music just always like playing in the family and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to get more into your writing, like when you write music and stuff, because obviously you just had a song release
I
on
did. Yeah.
Friday, and
Yeah.
I've heard some of your other stuff as well. So like it's just really cool. So kind of go a little in depth on like how do you start writing a song? Like how does it all like what's your creative process?
For sure. So I found that the best songs that I've ever written have been like really quick. And I've been asked so many times, like, well, how do you write a song? Like, how do you sit down and do it? And I honestly don't really know how to answer that, if that makes sense, because I think it really depends on like how you're feeling and the mood you're in and what you're going through at the time. And I've tried to sit down and write songs and suffered with like writer's block, or been like, well, I haven't really had a lot going on lately and I'm kind of just coasting like with COVID. So I was like, I don't know how I feel right now, but I'll try and write something. But yeah, I kind of start, I guess, as if I'm thinking of something or I've been going through something or feeling things that I can't quite describe or don't know how to vocalize, and don't want to talk about. I kind of sit down with my notebook and just kind of jot things down, how I'm feeling or thoughts that I'm going through or things that I'm having. And then I'll sit down with my guitar and kind of come up with a melody that I think might sound okay, and kind of do it at the same time.
Yeah.
And kind of come up with something that I think might sound okay and go from there. And honestly, sometimes it takes like an hour and I'll hammer out a whole song that I think sounds okay. And sometimes it'll take 4 months.
Right.
It really depends. But yeah, I found that I think that some of the best stuff I've written has been something that when you're going through the hardest things you've ever gone through and you sit down and it just comes to you and you hammer it out so fast. And I've watched interviews with other artists and they've kind of said the same thing. They've been like, you know what, our biggest hits have been things that have just come together so quickly because it's full of meaning, right? So
No, exactly.
yeah.
And like that's like the same with me too, is like when I wrote Back to When, that's like I just wrote that so quick just because like I had all those emotions just kind of like flying through my head and it was just in my heart. And like I literally probably wrote that within like an hour, hour and a half easily.
Yeah.
And then like some of my other songs that are unreleased yet, but like some of my friends and family know of as like Summer Walks and stuff like that. That actually like only that took me like probably a little longer to write just because like I wasn't feeling those emotions, but like I had like that story and picture in my mind of how I wanted this to go. I just couldn't find the right words for it.
Exactly.
And then like I was writing with another friend of mine, Dakota Hackworth, and we kind of like took a little piece of a song that we were working on and put it into that other song. And that's how like Summer Walks came around, which my friend Danny Sharp is going to be releasing hopefully soon.
Nice.
But like that took a few months like for me to do, but like just because it wasn't the emotions like I was feeling. So like I definitely relate to that a lot. Um, so obviously country music has kind of been like it's had its ups and downs. Like it was classic country back in like early 2000s, the 90s, and then kind of like I think it was around 2011 or so things kind of I think it was like 2010, 2011. I always get my dates wrong, but they kind of like took like a shift into all these other genres. Like kind of like when the Florida Georgia Line released Cruise is kind of like when things started like shifting. Like Jason Aldean went from like this like classic country kind of stuff to like he's more into like the southern rock, like kind of like country rock aspect. And then Florida Georgia Line kind of gets like that like rock, like pop vibe. And then it just kind of keeps going from there, from Sam Hunt to all that stuff. And
Mhm.
then later is kind of like when like country female artists were kind of like at a low and there wasn't a lot going on. And then over the last few years, that's like really starting to ramp up, which is cool.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of new upcoming country artists, like females, that are coming up. So, with that being said, what would you say makes you different compared to some of these other artists that are trying to like make it out there, like female artists? Like, what makes you Kate Reid?
That's a hard question because I have, like every artist I think has something different to contribute. And I think, going through, like you said, the past few years, there was kind of a lull in country music with female artists, especially. There wasn't a whole lot of female artists coming out or coming up and coming, or maybe were just not heard of as much as like you see Riley Green and Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen and those guys that just all of a sudden appeared and they're like iconic
Mhm.
men in country music right now because they're kind of bringing back that older style.
Yeah.
I think is why it really started to hit off again, is because a lot of the diehard country music fans are like, okay, these are older songs and that 90s country that we
Yeah.
all kind of grew up on, and they kind of have put so much meaning back into it. And I think that's where I maybe stand out as well, is that I love every aspect of country music, don't get me wrong. And I am down to sit by a fire and listen to all of the drinking songs every night, 100%. But I always relate back when I'm going through something or when I need something, when I'm sitting around my house or when I'm even just driving around. I want something of more substance for me. And that's something that I always hear from even my friends and family, is that so much of country music now has turned into drinking songs and partying in my truck and my whatever. And there's
Yeah.
nothing wrong with that. And there's 100% a place for it. And they're awesome songs. But they've always kind of said, you know what, Caitlin, we love listening to your stuff because you listen to the lyrics and there's more meaning behind it. You can tell that you've gone through something because of this music, right? And I think that's where I'm hopefully going to fit into the country music scene, is that like I said, my goal is that someone can listen to my song and say, you know what, I can relate to this, or, oh my gosh, this is exactly how I feel. I haven't been able to pinpoint it, but that's it.
No,
And I'm
exactly.
hoping at least that that's where I can kind of fit into country music. But there are so many amazing artists up and coming that it is, I think everyone has a place. There's more than enough room for everyone in the
No,
industry.
I totally agree with that. And like you said, like definitely like I wasn't taken away from like anyone. Like obviously there's a place for everyone in country music and like all this stuff fits and stuff. And like I just like you said, like I tendently lean back towards that older stuff is just because that's like what
Yeah.
I like. But obviously like the like country pop aspect is like that totally works. And like I jam out to a lot of those
Oh
songs too.
yeah.
And but it's
Yeah.
just like for me, it just kind of goes back to those roots. And that's like where
Yeah.
everyone kind of goes to eventually is just those roots. And like that's what they were brought up on
For
and
sure.
stuff.
And I know you and I have talked about that in the past. Like it's how we kind of related with writing and how we kind of started working together was we both said like, yeah, we're down to sit and have a beer and listen to all of those like Cruise and all the Luke Bryan songs, and they're awesome, right? But at the end of the day, we always kind of go back to those core, the foundation of
Exactly.
country music, I guess, right? So
No, for sure. So kind of I always hate talking about this just because it just weighs everyone down, the COVID obviously pandemic and stuff like
right.
that. And then social media has just been like a huge thing. How would you say like COVID like with like playing shows and like just kind of like getting out there like you're like getting you out there, like would you say social media has definitely like been there for you and stuff like that?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, COVID has not been easy. It's kind of funny because I have terrible luck. And that's kind of what all my friends joke about is that like, wow, Kate, we call it Caitlin's luck. Literally, if someone's like going through stuff, they're like, all right, she's got Caitlin's luck today or Kate's luck or whatever, right? And so of course I decided to, you know what, I'm going to give this music thing like a surefire shot because it's something I've always wanted to do. And I started making calls and connections and getting really involved in my social media. And then COVID hit. I was like, of course, right? Like this is 100% how this would go for me. Like makes sense. So just when I was starting to get back out there and play some shows or think about playing some shows, that was no longer an option. So it's a little bit intimidating too, because it's like, well, you haven't been out on stage in so long, you haven't been around people in so long. I think we're all suffering a little bit from that like social aspect of like, am I going to be so awkward when I actually back out there again? But
Right.
social media has definitely been a saving grace through all of this. Like I think I'm not alone when I say that you then had the time to sit down and really focus on your platform and making connections with people in ways that maybe you normally wouldn't. And for me, it's been awesome. Like I don't have a crazy huge following at all, but to me, I'm just so appreciative of those who have seen my music and watch it and just being able to get out there and put anything on Instagram. And if one person likes it, I'm so amped. So
No,
it's,
exactly.
yeah,
And
it's been great.
I'm the same exact way. Like I don't like I'm not trying to make it big. Like I don't care about the fame and money. Like it's just those like few people that do support me just means the world to me, whether it's friends, family, or just someone like out there that just like heard like a song of mine and just says that like hit me and like I like what you do. That's what gets me. And that's what I get out of it, and that's why I enjoy doing it, is just because if I can reach other people with it, then that makes me feel better.
Definitely.
So with that being said, kind of like getting towards like the end of the interview part, is what are your goals as an artist, and like what do you want to do with your music, and like what else can we expect from you down the road?
Yeah, for sure. So I've always wanted to release an album, has kind of always been something I wanted to do and make a music video. And through social media, I was able to come in contact with Charlotte Avenue Entertainment out of Nashville, and they do a lot of work kind of all throughout the area. And I was actually able to check almost two of those things off my list in a year, which is awesome. And again, I think COVID was a terrible thing for everybody, but at the same time, we have to look at the positives that came out of it. And I don't know that I would have been able to do all the things as fast as I have done had it not been for COVID, because I took all of the free time that I had and I put it into my music and was able to get my first EP finished and a music video completed. That's going to be coming out within the next couple of weeks here. So um, for me, like we said, my song Numb is out now as of Friday, and the music video is coming soon. And I'm going to slowly be releasing the rest of the songs for my EP. And my plan within the next year is to finish the album. And honestly, just hopefully I can continue making music. That's the goal, is to be able to keep putting stuff out there and be relatable to people. And make connections and meet new artists along the way and kind of have that common ground, and maybe hopefully fingers crossed start playing some live shows would be awesome in the summer. So maybe if the Stampede is a thing again, or we actually get to have some more of reality, we can start to do stuff like that. So that's the short-term plan, I guess. And honestly, long-term, I have no idea. I'm just so happy to be doing what I'm doing. So
No, and that's awesome, honestly. And like I said, I can't, like, I'm thankful that we actually became friends and that like we're gonna start working together and hopefully releasing a couple of songs down the road and stuff like
for
that.
sure.
And it's just I can't wait to see some more of your stuff, just because obviously I've been following you for a while and then we started being friends and I've heard some more of your stuff and just even your covers on Instagram. You're just such a very versatile artist and you can cover a lot of different things. And it was funny too because like when we actually first met, I was saying, "Oh, you kind of like you have some tones of Hillary Scott from like Lady A," and like I was saying some like a little bit of Carrie Underwood and just like stuff like that, and you like totally like reminisce with that, and like you're like, no, I like for sure see that, which is cool.
Yeah, thank
um
you. That's a huge compliment. The second you drop Carrie Underwood's name, it's like, holy crap, she is like the powerhouse of country music. And
mhm.
again, one of my idols. Like she's one of the first concerts I went to and I bawled. And I'm not ashamed to say that I cried like the whole time. So yeah, she's an idol.
No, for sure. And like definitely like people go check out Kate's new song Numb, obviously, but also like I said, just check out some of her covers and you can just see how versatile she is. She is just such a very talented and amazing artist, and I'm thankful that we're friends and that we're gonna be working together and stuff like that.
Thank
So that's pretty much all the questions I have for you. Obviously, the
you.
fun part is the music part. That's what everyone always wants to listen to at the end.
Yeah,
So I'll let you kind of take it away. If you want to just let people know first, like where we can find you on like Instagram, Spotify, Apple Music, all that stuff, and then just
sure.
kind of let them know about the song and stuff like that. And the floor is yours.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, thank you. Thank you, Andrew, for putting this together. And I'm very thankful that we've met each other and be able to work with each other as well, and to write together and kind of get some stuff out there of our own too would be awesome. So thank you for all of this. I appreciate it, and for you including me in all the showcases and interviews, and it's been awesome. Yeah, so I'm gonna play Numb for you guys. It's my newest song, my first single, so that's pretty exciting for me. Big leap. It's a super personal song, but again, why I wanted to put it out there for people, hoping that someone would be relatable to it, right? And it would maybe help someone going through something similar. The lyrics kind of say, also, I don't need to describe it too much, but it's basically a song that got me through a really hard time when I didn't know how I was feeling. I day to day just kind of felt like I was in a shell or outside looking in and watching myself, and not really sure how to work through the emotions I was dealing with because I didn't know what they were. And finally, one day I kind of sat down and I was like, I'm numb. Like that's what I am right now. I'm numb. I don't know how to be angry or sad or hurt or cry or mad or happy. I'm just coasting.
Mhm.
And so then that's where I kind of wrote this, and this is how it kind of came to be. But yeah, it's available on iTunes, Spotify, Apple Music, Google Play, and then there'll be a music video coming out on YouTube and all platforms pretty quick here. And I'm pretty active on my Instagram, Kate Reid Music, and then you have TikTok. I caved and I got it, so I'm on there as well, the same name, and on YouTube as well. So those are kind of the main places you can find my stuff. So I'd appreciate if you guys would give a listen. So I will stop talking and I'll grab my guitar. All right. Hopefully I don't mess up my own song. So this is Numb. It's 2 a.m. You're still not home. Lately I've gotten used to being alone. You say it's me, there's no one else, but this constant theme of Baby, I know every feeling, every notion, I'm just going through the motions now. I can't hate you, I can't love you, I don't want anything from you now. It's too damn hard to face the stages of my grief, to let myself get hurt, get mad, feel weak. So I'm I grab the keys, pedal to the floor, telling my heart to tell my head I must be wrong. But like God will steer, my heart knows where you are. Baby, I know every feeling, every notion, I'm just going through the motions now. I can't hate you, I can't love you, I don't want anything from you now. It's too damn hard to face the stages of my grief, to let myself get hurt, get mad, feel weak. So I know see the looks they give me, like I'm about to break, by the simple mention of your name or picture of your face. I want so bad to tell them that I'll be okay, but it's too damn hard to face to say, so I allocate my pain. There we go.
Awesome. I love that song
Thank
so
you.
much, honestly.
Thanks.
And I was like super honored when I'm just gonna brag because I got to hear it before it was even released. So just saying.
Yeah, you did. I had to make sure it sounded okay. So I was like, listen to this, listen to this.
No, exactly. No, I just love the song. I love the story behind it, and I can just feel the storytelling vibe that you have and just the emotions that you poured into that for sure.
Awesome. Thank you. No, thank you for having me on here. That's awesome.
No, thank you. So that is another spotlight series by yours truly, ACK. Kate, again, just thank you so much for that.
Thank you. No, thank you for having me. And like I said, I know a lot of work goes into all the stuff you put together, but it is so appreciated by all of us artists. So thank you for connecting us essentially.
Yes, no, thank you. So everyone, that is it. And thank you, Kate, again. We'll see you next week.
Thanks. Sounds good.